Hey, Dragon Slayers. So today's video is about how carbohydrates aren't the only source of fuel for your brain, part two. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. Let's get started. So another community that flourished on a carnivore diet was the Masai people of Eastern Africa. The Masai diet was raw meat, raw milk, and raw blood from cattle. Sounds like a pretty disgusting diet to me. Just my personal opinion. The tribe's dietary habits were studied closely by Dr. Weston A. Price, who reported that despite their zero carbohydrate animal diet, they were very healthy and strong. Multiple other societies lived on meat almost exclusively, including the Cukotka in Russian. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. In Russia, the Samburu and Rendille warriors of Africa, certain nomadic tribes in Mongolia, the Sioux of the South Dakota, and the gauchos from Brazil. Today, there are thousands of people who live very happily on a zero carb or a very low carb diet. They report being very healthy and energetic despite going for months at a time with no carbohydrates at all. There is no anthropological or physiological evidence that humans need to eat a certain amount of carbohydrates daily. Some cells in the human body need glucose for energy. The red blood cells do not have a nucleus or their own mitochondria, and thus they have no means of producing their own energy or burning fat as fuel. Certain cells in the brain and the eye also need glucose for energy. However, your liver is perfectly capable of making all the glucose your body needs through a process called gluconeogenesis. Because the liver can produce as much glucose as these cells need to function properly, there is no need to eat carbohydrates at all. So, what does the research have to say about this? Well, unfortunately, there's no meaningful research showing any need for daily carbohydrate intake in human beings, although there are many experts who say otherwise. They don't have research to back up their claims. The liver can convert both amino acids and fatty acids into glucose for the cells that require glucose for fuel. You don't need to eat carbohydrates to get that glucose. The key takeaway message from all of this is that many generations of humans have lived in situations where they had little to no access to carbohydrates for months at a time. Whether humans at one time did need carbohydrates and became genetically adapted to live without them, or never needed them to start with, is unknown. But at present, you don't need them to meet any minimum daily requirement for your body. Most of the cells in your body can shift from needing carbohydrates as fuel to being able to burn off some form of fat as fuel. Every human body has the biochemical machinery to make this shift from being a carbohydrate burner to being a fat burner. It just takes a little time to make the conversion. In no way does this limit your metabolic flexibility. Your body is always capable of burning carbs as fuel in the future. If you'd ever want this to happen, for the few cells in your body that cannot use fat as fuel, your liver is happy to make to use gluconeogenesis to produce enough glucose to feed the cells just what they need. This process exists for a reason, and it clicks on without any effort on your part. Well, that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.